that constant feeling of, should you really be here? Just ticks through my head over and over again. Today is not my day. It's the hardest 22k of my life. It doesn't bode well for the rest of it. This is going to feel like one hell of a finish line. 4 AM. I'm going to run 101k. So, we're currently in town Grindelwald. We make a steady but very long climb out of the town and up onto the trails. So the first climb up to Grosserscheidegg felt endless because you're going through the dark. You have no real context of where that finish is going to come. So I just kept plodding ahead. I kept my head down for a lot of it, just trying to focus and not look up because I knew how long this climb is. So the sun is starting to rise in the valley. Oh, I'm sweating a lot. And slowly, as we were getting sort of 2/3 of the way up, the sun started to rise and you could see it sort of this blazing red shine on the mountainsides and through the glacier. And you knew that in my head I would get to Grosserscheidegg for sunrise. So I knew that the finish of this climb was kind of getting near, but it was really tough because I constantly felt like I wasn't coming to that end of the climb. The sun has come up, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't struggling. I've already had to have an emergency poo stop. There's been something wrong with my tummy since my last race up in Chamonix, which I had to DNF at halfway, and that is playing in my mind right now already. Should I be doing the 51 rather than the 101 right now? Because already I'm struggling. 10k check-in, then 3,500 feet of elevation gain from basically down there. And I kind of feel a little bit like Mufasa from The Lion King at the moment with that view. But like the ups are on the flats and the downs, just keep moving forward. But right now, got a lovely bit of down through this waterfall and then around there, and where the sun is just around that corner of that building, that's Fiest and the next aid station.
Good going, James. How you feeling?
Tired? Still finished yet?
Not quite.
For those of you that haven't seen my MCC video, which was my last mountain race that I did with the running channel, I talked a bit about my mantra when it comes to any kind of running really, and it's very simple. I repeat the words always on one foot and then forward when I place the other foot, so it becomes like a rhythmic always forward, always forward, always forward. And it's helped me out of many situations in the past, and I feel like, well, I'm not bringing it up just yet because I'm enjoying all these ridiculously spectacular views. I know that I'm going to struggle soon because what goes down, and we are very much going down, is gonna come back up again. I'm basically going straight up there. So, and that's kind of the first, second big climb of the day done, which there are 9. So, I'm trying to think about that too much. But yeah, we'll crack on. We get down, we refocus, we go up. Most importantly, we always go forwards. This is the hardest 22k of my life. It doesn't bode well for the rest of it. But my issue today is going to be the cut-offs. So I met a guy quite early on. He said he's run this 4 times and he's got caught by the cut-off 4 times. He's still behind me, to be fair, but that's going to play on my mind a lot in the next, what is it, 40k, 30k, before I get to the option to turn and finish the 51, which would still be a huge achievement, don't get me wrong, but it's not what I came here for. I came here to take on the 101.
So First is a tourist area and is well known for what they call a cliff walk, which is a walkway bolted on to a cliffside. And I have a massive, massive fear of heights.
Oh, Centauri's coming. Concussion. Why do people do this for fun? Jesus. Oh, fuck, I look down. I look down. I look down. It's wide now. Now I'm going to face the bridge. Oh, there's someone coming behind me. Oh, let me go. Hold on. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh my God.
So going across there was horrendous. So coming into checkpoint at First, I was just purely focused on getting my water in and a little bit of food in. I knew that I would be struggling against the cut-offs later on in the race. I'm very aware that I wasn't as fit as I wanted to be for this race, but also the race is quite well known for having quite strict cut-offs. So the last one I wasn't going to look at my watch for was First. And then going forward, every checkpoint I would be keeping an eye on the time, seeing what kind of buffer I had. It wasn't a huge part of my brain, but as each checkpoint progressed, it became more important, until it was the only thing that I cared about getting to the aid station. I was less concerned about actually staying hydrated. It was more, am I still in this race?
I'm struggling to eat. And my head is just throbbing. And there we go. Highest point of the race. Final one ticked. Mate, that was hard.
It was definitely one of the toughest climbs I've ever had in my entire life. The sweat was just pouring down my face. I felt like I was moving at some pace, but every time I stopped and readjusted and thought how far have I come, it like I hadn't moved. This endless trudging on what felt like a treadmill going the opposite way just really sapped at my morale. But I felt like a fraud on the trails with all these amazing runners.
So I imagine a few of you are probably putting in the comment section right now, why do you do these kind of things? It's a fair question. I think because I like to see what my limits are. I like to push where I think I can go. And this is all kind of rooted in the fact that, 6 years ago, I was 21 stone. And so everything that I've done since when it comes to running and the huge lifestyle change it's created in me, I think I want to keep pushing and seeing, what else, what other changes can I go on or through or with other people. I think that's why I love it. Made it to the should be 30 mile aid station with 2 minutes to spare before the cut-off. Safe to say I won't be making 101 if I can just about get the cut-off to 50, but never mind. Yeah, cracking views for aid station. Look at that. I'm now going to drink some water, drink some Coke, and hit the road for what will essentially be the last checkpoint. And then the finish line, I guess. Which is a weird feeling. So having thought that finishing the 51k would be 51k, it's not. It's 60 something k, 63k I think. I'm at 32 miles. I've still got 11k to go. I don't think I can do that. Today is not my day. Just wanted to finish. Let's get down this road, see what happens. Oh, that's fine.
How'd you feel?
Like crying?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Hi guys, yeah.
Good.
Well done. This is the first race I've ever been timed out of. Even when I was 20-ish stone, never been timed out of a race. Ugh, gross. That feels pretty shit. Right. Can we just keep going down?
Yeah. Keep away.
The worst feeling I felt in a race for such a long time. I started running when I was 21 stone, and yet I would finish those races. And that realization that I wasn't going to do it was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in running. I've never been cut off in a race before. I keep moving forward. I may not be the quickest. I've finished almost last in some races in the past. I keep moving forward. And this was going to be the first race I would ever be timed out of. So I got to the checkpoint and I really had to push myself to go even ask the question. Could I actually turn left and go and complete the 51? Because I was so worried the answer was going to be no and I would just be stuck there at this checkpoint in what felt like the middle of nowhere. So I went up and I asked the question and I was told, well, it's the only option really, you're timed out. So I knew I had 6 kilometers still to go. That might not seem like a lot to people watching right now. That's just a park run and a little bit extra. But with that many kilometers already in my feet, having climbed endlessly, the 6K felt like another mountain. But I wanted that finish line. I needed something to take away from this race. So even though I would get a 51 medal around my neck having done 61K, I didn't care. I needed that finish line. The question I've been asked is, do I regret starting this race? And in reality, yes and no. I kind of wish I'd started the 51 because that's what I originally planned way back when, and I could have completed that. But you don't know where your limits are unless you push at them. The fitness level, there's no way I could have changed that on the start line. The kit I was wearing was the perfect kit for the conditions I was in. So there was nothing I could have really changed. Sure, my mentality I could have changed. And I tried to as the race went on, pressing that reset button again and again and again. But in reality, I don't think I could have done much differently. If I'd stayed in the comfort zone of doing 51K, I know I can do 51K in the mountains. I've done it before and I'll do it again. But I was never gonna find the limits, push past and challenge yourself if you don't go further than what you think is possible. I've had this motto of do what you can't, pushing forwards, honestly pushing what you believe to be true about yourself. So if I hadn't entered the 101, I wouldn't be pushing it. And though I failed, I still found new ways to push beyond that which I thought wasn't capable of before.